Hello everyone, my name is Max. I learn languages. In 2022 I'm learning Persian, and in this video I'd like to show you how I have learned the Persian script by talking about two problems that I had at the very beginning of this year and showing you how I solved both of those problems. Now, the second problem is actually that the Persian script doesn't make use of any short vowels. So that means that when you read a word, it looks like you can pronounce it in many different ways. I'm still solving this problem in a way that is very successful until now, I think. And that means that this video contains a step-to-step guide about how to learn the script. I explained this problem and also the first problem in a previous video back on day 31. Hello, my name is Max. I'm learning Persian in 2020 and I have two main problems. Now, problem number one is the script. Or actually not the script, but that the Persian script doesn't have any vowels. They don't write the vowels. Persian has 6 vowels, short vowels, that they don't write. This is actually not completely correct, but I'll correct my mistake later in the video. The A of hot, the A of cat, the E of egg, the I of ego, the O of 40, the U of rule. That means that this word can be written, as far as I know, as gerfotan, gurfotun, gerfeten. Now, that brings me to the second problem, which is that I cannot really look it up, because there's no translator, as far as I know, in the whole of the internet that writes the vowels, has a phonetic Latin script, or has an audio function. Now, what I said in that video was wrong. So it's true that Persian has 6 vowels, which I based on this website over here, but it's not true that they are not written, because only 3 of them are not written and the other 3 are written. So as you can see here, Persian vowels, the short vowels are not written and the long vowels, they are written. So the Persians actually omit not 6 vowels, but only 3. Now that simplifies the problem a great deal, and later in this video I will tell you how I am managing to read the words even though they omit only 3 vowels, and I'll show you exactly how I did that. But first let me show you how I, or actually somebody else, solved the problem with the translator. For that we have to go to the comment section of another video of mine in which I also mentioned the problems, and somebody wrote, Bing Translator has this audio function. Use this. So I tried it out and it worked.
من فارسی رو در سال 2022 یاد میگیرم. من از این مترجم خوشم میاد. درختان عالی هستند. تو هم همینطور.
Okay, so playing with the translator makes it a lot nicer to learn Farsi. But of course, in every Farsi word, there's still a few vowels of the 3 vowels that I cannot read out loud. And now I've come to the point where I can read as fast as a 6-year-old toddler, which is, I think, is pretty nice. And I'd like to take you to the step-by-step plan that I didn't follow, but that I would follow if I would do it again. So what I did is I looked at the things that I did to learn the script, and I did many different things, and I kind of extracted the different steps that I had to take to get to this point. And I also will talk about a few steps that I'm going to take now to get to the next level. So the first thing that I did, and of course that everyone should do, is I looked up the Persian alphabet online and I practiced writing the letters and saying the sounds. So I listened to it, I repeated it, and I wrote them down. Of course, these things, so listening to it, repeating it, and writing it down, that's basically how you learn the script anyway. But then moving from letters to more complex language, like sentences and texts. So that's what these steps are doing. They are going up one level at a time. And then also I tried to well, when I look back at what I did, I tried at different levels of knowing the script. I tried to do different things, a little bit different, so I would challenge myself and learn a bit faster. So you will see. Now step number 1 is looking up the alphabet, reading, repeating, and writing the sounds. And then step number 2 is going from letters to words. So I tried to write, first I copied words, right? So I copied just the words that I had in my course books, and I pronounced them later on to see if I would remember how these words are pronounced. This is of course to make myself comfortable with pronouncing words that don't have any vowels written in them, right? So I just have to get used to that, basically. So moving from letters to words, I also tried to write down the names of things that I am familiar with. For example, the names of my family members, my girlfriend, of countries. I wrote down the word Farsi, etc., etc. And again, I tried to pronounce them. And then step 3 is moving from letters to words to sentences. So then I tried to copy sentences, and more importantly, I tried to follow along with my finger. When an audio was playing, I tried to follow along with my finger in the text. So what happened in the beginning, of course, is that my finger was about halfway, and then the audio was already stopping, right? The audio was already finishing. So I noticed that I had no clue what was happening. But of course, slowly, like that, I slowly connected sound with the letters, and that's what it's all about. So this was a very passive process. And then in step 4, I tried to make it a little bit more active, and I tried to repeat what I was hearing. So I tried to make the opposite connection, namely not from audio to text, but from text to audio, by pronouncing the words that I was reading. And also that took a couple of weeks, right, to get familiar with this this technique. So when I was getting faster and faster, I noticed that I was not losing track of what was happening anymore. I could perfectly, well, not perfectly, but I could pretty much read along. And therefore it was time for the next step, which is not just following along and repeat, but trying to read out loud a few texts without listening to the audio, right?
Step number 5 was difficult. Now, something that I did that really helped me immensely, I think, was reading and translating, listening to, and even memorizing almost 2 complete stories. So a cartoon and a story, actually, as you can see. And here I just want to show you what I exactly did to do that. So Nima gave me a story. Nima is my language coach. I listened to the story and I translated a few words. And you can say day number 63, I only understood a few words, right? And then here I listened and did it again. I forgot more than half of it already, you see, 2 days later. Here you can see that I did it again and again and again. And then you can see here like 12 or what is it? Yeah, 9 days later, still working on it, still working on it. And this is just the same story over and over again, okay? And here you can see that 2 weeks later, I'm still working. I'm translating and understanding the same story. So you can see here I understand finally every word. So this is 2 weeks after listening to the story the first time, I think. Yeah, so it's almost 2 weeks after, right? And then only then I understand finally every word, and I'm trying to read it out loud. As you can see here, I'm trying to pronounce it, but I'm not doing it very well. Here I keep doing it. And I thought back, like the day before, I thought I understood everything, but then I realized the next day that I actually didn't. So I translated it then, I got back to it and I translated word by word, and only then I felt like I really understood it. And then I had to do something called the fluency voice, which I can really recommend. So I had to read the story out loud and send it to my voice coach and language coach, Nima. He checked it and he told me to do it better. And then you see here, I'm still doing the same thing, okay? So this is almost 20 days now. And I'm still doing the same story all the way until day number 100. So that's 30 something days No, like 40 days of doing the same story, reading the same story over and over again. And that really helped me to memorize the sounds of the letters that I needed to know to read the Farsi script correctly, you know?
What I also did throughout the steps was I tried to write down things that I was hearing, and then I checked if my spelling was correct. You know, so dictation basically, but then first on the level of the letters and the numbers, of course. By the way, I did the same with the numbers. And then on the level of the words, the sentences, and even texts. And then after this step number 5, I want to do a complete text. So I would like to write a transcription of a complete text by just listening to one audio, writing it down, and then checking in the book if I have it, if I have written it down correctly. And then of course there's step number 7, and in this system of mine, if you know what I've been talking about so far, maybe you can guess what step number 7 is. So if you want, you can pause the video and then tell me what step number 7 is in the comments if you like. If not, you can just listen because I'm going to say it now. And step number 7 is, of course, just write your own text and then have it checked. That will be kind of the end goal of understanding the script. Is on the passive side of things, I would like to read a book in Persian, and on the active side of things, I would like to be able to write texts, maybe even an essay or something like that in the future, because I am planning on achieving a very high level in Persian somewhere in the future. So that's what I did. That's what you can do too. And of course, along the way I made many mistakes, and I hope you won't, because you've already listened to the steps that I should have taken. So I see you when I speak better Persian.